So here we have the simplest of Node.js applications. It's just a hello world. That's all. That's all it does. Its rise to fame of Node.js is to very simple in 3 lines of code create a running HTTP server, right? That you can easily integrate with everything else. So let's do that. So to do that, we're going to install a library, a module, what we call it, that allows us to create servers very, very easily in 3 lines of code or less. So we're going to use npm install, and we're going to install the Express library, right? The Express library. So that's going to go out to npm. It's going to download the Express library, and it's going to copy it locally. And we should verify that notice that it created a brand new directory, right? The node_modules. We're already familiar with this directory, right? It's the same thing for React. Any new libraries that we can install are installed in the node_modules directory. That's great. The other thing we should check to see is if the package JSON declares whatever new packages we install. Make sure that they are inserted in the package.json. Otherwise, when you deploy this on Heroku, right, it won't know that it'll need that package, right? It needs to download that package. So it's good. It's declared in here. Very good. We're good to go. All right. Once we have that, we can now create our simplest server. To do that, I can never remember what the syntax is, so I'm going to head over to the Express.js homepage, and in here there's all the documentation for the Express library. I encourage you to read through it, only to be familiar with what we don't know. It's good to know what we don't know, and go through the API reference, in particular the stable one 4x, and it quickly tells you how to use this. Right, very easy. We can require the Express library. And then we can instantiate the library by calling that as a function. So let's copy that. If we head over to our server, we're going to paste that in there. Require in Node.js is the equivalent of imports, right? Require is specific to Node.js, but it has the same mechanism. Right? It allows you to import modules, self-contained modules. Whatever that module exports, we are able to import it in here in our namespace. Now the Express library, what comes back from this require is a function. We can call that function, and it's going to instantiate a brand new instance of the Express framework. We're assigning it to a local variable here, app, and then we can use app to tell the server that we want to listen to an incoming request at port, say 4000. Okay, we're gonna be listening for incoming requests at line 4000. Notice that if we still had our console log hello world, notice the difference now, right? If we run this, right? If we now run the server, if you remember before, right? It printed the hello world and it stopped, right? It came back to the console. Yes. Now it's not. Notice that it's kind of blocked in there, waiting, right? It went into this infinite loop, waiting for an incoming request at port 4000. It started a server for us, and we can hit that server. We can say, let's take a look what's there. You can say localhost 4000. Notice that it says, I don't know, you actually hit something that is running and it is listening, but it tried to map the root URL. It tried to map it to a resource, and it didn't find a mapping. It says, what do you want me to do with this slash? I don't have anything to give you. Nobody told me how to handle that particular URL. So let's take a look at how we would do that, right? So to handle that, let's stop the server. To handle these requests, we need to configure what is it that we want to do for the incoming requests, right? And the way we do that is by saying app dot, right? And here we can handle all sorts of HTTP verbs. We can handle the gets, the posts, the puts, the deletes. We can say, we can say that if you see an incoming get, that has the following URL pattern, right? Maybe hello, right? If it has that URL pattern, I want you to generate the following response. So the way we generate the response is to provide here a function. The get, what it does is that it maps an incoming URL, it maps it and executes, right? It executes a function. This is very, very similar to what we do in Java, right? You declare a function, yes, and then you do a get mapping on top of it with an add.get mapping. Same thing, but different syntax. Same concept, just different syntax. All right. So here's where you provide the function. So this function is going to be invoked if the server sees this incoming URL. What do we want to do? Well, the way this works is that we participate we're participating now in a client server relationship, right? We have the client as the browser sending us an HTTP request, and we need to now generate a response back, right? And to do that, the app.get is going to call this function with two arguments. It's going to call it with two arguments. The first argument is going to represent the incoming request, right? Including the IP address of where this is coming from, any cookies that's coming from the request, any the time that this request was generated, any headers, anything that the client is sending us, and then it provides us also with another object that allows us to generate a response back and send something back. So we don't really care what came right now. We're just going to generate a response. We're going to say response, send back the following, hello world. Okay. All right, let's do that. Let's start the server again. Let's go back to our client here and generate a hello here. Hello. There it is, right? This hello world is a direct response from the server. The server came back and responded with this JavaScript. Make sense? Everybody good? All right.